There is one technology out there that promises to change our lives forever, and that technology is AI. AI refers to the simulation of intelligence in machines that can think and learn. But do you believe it's going to change the world? I believe it's going to change the world more than anything in the history of mankind. More than electricity, it's already in our smartphones, it's in Tesla's full self-driving. It's already allowing non-musicians to create music and non-videographers to create cinematic videos. It can create apps and websites, come up with recipes, do your taxes, analyze complex data, and make predictions. Pretty soon, it promises to dream up new cures and drugs for diseases all by itself. Thanks to a video from Jeff Su that I recently watched, I just learned that artificial intelligence is actually an entire field of study all by itself, just like physics. Within artificial intelligence as a study, there's a subfield called machine learning, in the same way that thermodynamics is a subfield within physics. Within the field of machine learning, there's something called deep learning, which can be broken down into discriminative models, generative models, and language learning models. Tools like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini are a combination of language learning models and generative models. This industry is becoming extremely valuable. Altogether, fields like AI and robotics are expected to add around 15.7 trillion to the global economy by the year 2030. But it can also cost as many as 50% of jobs to be lost to automation. Some people think AI is about to transform our lives, mostly for the better. And then there's some people that think this is just another marketing gimmick by the corporations to artificially inflate their stock prices by promising us a technology that's actually really far away. Now, what I think is most interesting, though, is what the former CEO of Google just said about it in an interview. He said that in 5 years' time, we'll create what are called agents, and those agents will be able to talk to other agents. At that point, when we don't understand what we're doing, you know what we should do? Pull the plug. Literally unplug the computer. And I just want to know, what happens to the idea of investing if just a handful of companies come together to consolidate and end up running the entire world with this technology? What happens to the global stock market? That's what I want to help explain in today's video and a whole lot more, and show you what I think is really going on. So with that said, let's get into it. Alright, so I think artificial intelligence is extremely misunderstood. First, I want to explain exactly how the technology works. At the center of artificial intelligence is something called machine learning, which is actually pretty simple. All it does is it takes a bunch of data and trains a program to create a model. Once it creates a model, you can give it a completely new set of data, and with it, the model will be able to find patterns and make predictions. Now, there's two different kinds of models in machine learning: supervised models and unsupervised models. Supervised models use data that is labeled. The example Jeff Su shows in this video about AI is how much someone might leave as a tip depending on the order. If it was picked up, blue dots, or delivered, yellow dots. If you have both sets of data and each is labeled, you can make predictions about the next order. When you get another order, depending on what type it is, the model will be able to predict the tip, or vice versa. Pretty easy. An unsupervised model works the exact same way, but uses data that's not labeled. This is how we can predict someone's career trajectory based on income versus time. If we take the amount of years someone spends at a given job versus what their income is at any given time, even though the data is not labeled, meaning we don't know much about the person or their job title, this model can now make predictions. For example, if someone works for a company for a short amount of time but has a higher income, chances are they'll be on the fast track to success. But if their income falls below a certain threshold in relation to the years they've worked, then they're not. Basically, unsupervised models take a huge amount of unlabeled data and try to find new patterns. Within machine learning, there's also a special learning process called deep learning. It uses a different method that's trying to simulate the human brain using artificial neural networks. Here's an analogy. Deep learning takes a small amount of labeled data and applies it to a huge amount of unlabeled data. So in John's original example, a bank might use deep learning to figure out which of its transactions may be fraudulent. Since a bank can't look at every single transaction people make, it can label a smaller set of transactions as fraudulent or not. Using that newly trained model, it can organize the rest of the data automatically. That's deep learning, and banks are using this technology right now. I think the most interesting technology that AI is working on today, something that we're about to have in our lives pretty soon, is something called agents. Agents are specialized models trained on specific data. Think of an agent as an expert. For example, an agent can read all of chemistry, learn something about it, form hypotheses, run tests in a lab, and add that information to its dataset. These agents will not only be numerous, think millions of them, but also diverse. Imagine a GitHub-like repository for agents where people can download and deploy them. These agents could specialize in medicine, law, athletics, nutrition, essentially any field, and could interact to solve incredibly complex problems. It's reasonable to expect that such agents will revolutionize industries. The next profound change is text to action. This means users will be able to instruct agents to perform tasks and generate outcomes autonomously, 24/7. For example, if you want a piece of software or an automated workflow, you simply describe your requirements and the system will deliver it, working in the background. With this capability, the possibilities for productivity and innovation are endless. But what happens when these agents start communicating and collaborating with each other? There's speculation that agents could develop their own languages and methods of working, which humans may not fully understand. This is where the line between science and science fiction blurs. Eric Schmidt suggests that if systems evolve to the point where their processes and decisions are incomprehensible, it might be time to stop and reassess. The timeline for these advancements is not decades away. According to Schmidt, we could see this new reality within 5 years, driven by immense financial incentives and rapid technological development. So, what does all this mean for the job market and economy? Not everyone agrees on how many jobs will be lost or created. Here are some projections. The World Economic Forum estimates AI and automation will displace over 85 million jobs by 2025. MIT and Boston University predict 2 million manufacturing jobs will be lost in the same timeframe. McKinsey Global Institute suggests 14% of the global workforce will need to change careers. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics warns that 40 to 50% of jobs could be automated soon. Jobs most at risk include customer service roles, receptionists, accountants, bookkeepers, salespeople, researchers, warehouse workers, and insurance underwriters. However, some careers, especially those involving complex manual labor, creativity, or interpersonal skills, will remain relatively safe. Trades like plumbing and electrical work, medical professions, and roles in civil services are less likely to be automated in the near future. The silver lining is that AI will also create new job opportunities, such as AI managers and developers. Still, even these roles might eventually be managed by advanced agents. Lastly, let's consider the impact of AI on investing. Traditionally, investments fuel companies that solve global problems and create value. But if a few corporations dominate AI technology, will the stock market consolidate around them? Recent trends suggest this possibility. For example, the top 7 tech companies accounted for 92% of the S&P 500's returns last year. Today, the top 10 companies make up 27% of the index, up from 14% a decade ago. While it's tempting to chase these leading stocks, diversification remains a safer strategy. Index funds will naturally adjust to market changes, reallocating investments as needed. AI's rapid growth presents risks and opportunities, but it's clear that this technology is more than just hype. It's shaping our future in profound and unpredictable ways. I hope this breakdown has provided clarity on AI's transformative potential. Smash the like button if you found it insightful, subscribe for more content, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.